Well, it is the fourth day of the World Championships here in Paris, France. I'm joined by Dyrus from TSM. Dyrus, you guys just picked up your first win of the group stage so far. But how do you feel about that? Because I know a lot of people kind of looking at LGD, feeling like they just aren't really showing up. So how much of that win is like you guys stepping up, or how much of it is LGD just not showing up?
So for each game that we lost against KT and Origin, we would get a slight advantage early game, but we would be too scared to make proactive plays to go on to the next thing or the next objective on the map. As for this game, since we had TF Mordekaiser and the little skirmish happened bot, we got much farther ahead of them because of like just the skirmishes, and we were able to make proactive plays with Bjergsen as the main shot caller of calling where he wants to go because he has global presence. And on top of that, just you know the team just making more plays in general.
So do you feel like you guys stepped it up for this game and it wasn't just LGD slacking?
We slightly stepped it up. After every game, we slightly stepped it up, and we are trying to change our strategy. But I feel like I don't know. I think LEG aren't slacking. It's just that no offense to their jungler, but their jungler is definitely like the weakest player on their team.
Now you guys are sitting at 1-2 at the moment. What do you think your chances are of getting out of groups?
Right now we can't say for sure because we need to win every single other game, and we can't really count on LDG to win games against the other team because um, the other teams are extremely strong. So if we drop one game, we're not gonna make it out of group. So the chances are really low right now. But to increase our chances, we need to consistently snowball the game.
Now, what are you guys going to do between now and the start of the next set of group stages to sort of feel like you can get a hold of yourselves again and kind of get that 3-0 victory?
So we need to improve our team play by a lot, where team fighting and just looking for opportunities, we need to heavily focus on that because right now, even if we get a lead, we would enter a team fight with a huge, massive goal lead sometimes or a slight one, and we'd still lose because we would play it so badly. A good example is even in this game when we had two inhibs down, we're so far ahead, we have so many kills. We barely won the last fight to end the game, and that's a huge example of how team fighting is one of our biggest weaknesses.
You've been very vocal about the fact that this is your last year, your last World Championships. Is that on your mind at all whenever you go into these games, or is that sort of set aside?
So for me, it was kind of a thing to like cope with my fears because every time I played bad, I'd worry about getting benched. But in reality, if I play bad regardless, I'm gonna get benched anyways. So if I kind of set it to like, just put a wall against my back. I don't want my teammates or, fans or, coaching staff to think that I've given up. Like I've been giving my very, very best effort, and if I don't prevail, it's because the enemy team is just that much better. The players this year is not. It's not because I'm getting worse at the game. It's that my ability to learn and my motivation is just like so much lower than the newer players or the players that are like upcoming.
Would you call that like a burnout? Because I've been thinking for a while. We've seen a lot of players retire, and I kind of feel like players just start to get kind of burned out compared to like the new generation of people coming in.
Yeah, that's a big factor, and I've been thinking about it from time to time, and I was thinking about maybe I can like take a year off and come back again later, or maybe like support the team from the side, maybe be a sub if someone's not performing. I can like I don't know, give them some advice, or maybe step in if someone's
I
like
mean, as a
sick.
jungler.
Yeah, maybe I'll come in. Nah, I'm not. I could probably only play top lane, honestly.
All right, and then what do you think of the other teams? I mean, obviously we just saw LGD, but what do you think of KT and Origin after having played them and after seeing them play in your group?
So we went in thinking KT was like one of the favorites to win Worlds, probably top two next to SKT. And after playing against them, it shows that they're all phenomenal players. But at the same time, we have phenomenal players like Bjergsen, and if we played off of Bjergsen in that one game, we would have a higher chance of winning. But the rest of us need to step it up in terms of team play. Me not getting caught, and and then against Origin is like strategy. Just like everyone needs to know what they need to do for us to beat them.
What did you think of that Anivia pick yesterday?
It wasn't It wasn't unsurprising because before we knew that we were in their group, we scrimmed each other, and he played Anivia a couple of times, and it wasn't. I mean, we were just expecting it. Like before they even picked it, it's like they're probably gonna pick Anivia here, and we're like, yeah, and then they picked it. I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna play.
We've seen actually speaking of Anivia, and we just saw Brand. We've seen a variety of different champions picked here at Worlds. What do you think of this meta? Because it's kind of a really brand new thing going into Worlds. What do you think of that and all the diversity that we're seeing in the champions?
So personally, for me, I think this meta does not benefit me because it goes away from the tank meta and it goes away from my strengths. You can also see why Acorn is having some problems with other top laners because it goes away from his strengths too. Like he's a really strong top laner in terms of like tanks, and he's experienced from last year too. But then you see players like Zion, Spartan, and Marin really excel at what they do.
So maybe it's just kind of a factor. I mean, besides yourself, do you think that the meta is interesting, or are you kind of frustrated with the changes that we saw?
Um, I think it's interesting and frustrating at the same time because I can't immediately be really good at all these champions, even though like these are champions I've always wanted to play. Yeah. But I just need to get to that level, and since I've been playing so long, my ability to learn it is just so slow.
Is there anything that you would like to say to any of the NA fans or the TSM fans out there?
To all of our fans and everyone supporting us, thank you for supporting us through these dark times. Like no matter what happens, we'll give it our best. If we end up losing, then that's just how it was. We just weren't good enough. But, you know, we're always honored to have the support of our fans.
Thank you so much for the interview, Dyrus. It was good to see you guys win today, and hopefully get to interview you in London. That would be really fun. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of our coverage of all things Worlds at gamespot.com/LOL.